many words. I've butchered Vladimir Putin, a war criminal.
Let me say that whatever you think he is, if you want to pull him back,
I'm asking what you
well,
think
if you are a world leader, you don't begin your conversation by calling someone a war criminal unless
so why
you
have
have
you called Biden and Netanyahu war criminals?
Because we have a clear strategy and we have a very
is
strong support
Is
across
Bashar
the
al-Assad and Vladimir
community.
Putin war criminals in your view?
Very strong.
Biden and Netanyahu war criminals.
Because we have a clear strategy and we have a very strong support
Is
across
Bashar
the
al-Assad and Vladimir
community.
Putin war criminals in your view?
I wanted to hear the Assad thing.
In Moscow, shouldn't you say something about the Russian
Well,
imperialists?
and in fact, I did. And had
Where?
the speech not been taken down, it lived on the internet on the RT channel. My remarks. See that
you called out the Russian
excuse me.
I guess I'm gonna name the
Media
new
from-
weekly videos. Maybe we're still like working on the format. I'm probably gonna end up posting these weekly to the Bridges channel though instead of my main one. So I don't know what naming scheme we would use for that channel too.
Around the
Well, there's
world.
a Russia Today conference, which is a propaganda channel for Putin. I mean,
Well,
it was some neutral
yes,
conference.
in the same way that the BBC is a propaganda channel for
It's
the
not the same.
UK.
It's not the same way.
Yes.
It's not the same way.
We all
MSNBC is a propaganda channel for Team Blue.
We have our yes, but aren't the American people entitled to decide, you know, what propaganda they're going to listen to?
I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not.
What is she? How does it feel you might have your golden play button by the end of the year? I'd need 190,000 subs. There'd have to be some crazy shit happening over the election, and I need to not get assassinated.
Yes, I actually did call that out, and yes, it is a Clinton hit job. And that video was, you know, was a posting on social media. The actual purpose of that visit was to address a conference of media from around the world.
The Russia Today conference, which is a propaganda channel for Putin. I mean,
Well,
it was some neutral
yes, in
conference.
the same way that the BBC is a propaganda channel for the UK.
It's not the same.
Just as a reminder, Russia Today is directed by Moscow. It takes orders from Putin's government. The BBC gets state funding, but not state direction. There's a difference between getting funding and direction. The BBC does not take state direction. PBS or NPR does not take state direction. These are very, very, very different types of things.
Yes, we all are,
MSNBC is a propaganda channel for
NPR,
Team Blue.
we have our, yes, but aren't the American people entitled to decide, you know, what propaganda they're going to
I'm not saying
listen
you shouldn't. I'm not
yes,
saying you should ban from it. I'm just wondering why you went.
when our corporate media will not cover us, yes, then we do have to embrace whatever media we
And
can
you
get.
didn't feel you should criticize Putin?
Actually, I did.
To his face?
Yes, I
What did
will.
you say to him?
So he was not at that conference, but he heard it.
That
That was not the conference.
I know,
That
it
was
was
a
at
dinner afterwards.
So why not say
There were
something?
no
Even a translator
translators.
at
There was
that
no
table.
Vladimir
introduction.
Putin speaks English.
He was there for 5 minutes before he gave a speech in Russian. Yeah.
If Joe Biden was sitting at a table with you 5 minutes, you wouldn't call him out on Gaza? If
No,
Benjamin Netanyahu was sitting at a table with you, you wouldn't call him out?
But if
So why not
he is,
Putin?
I like how she changes it immediately. He does speak English, you know, right?
if he is unavailable, if he's across the table and there's just screaming noise, what you're going
The
to...
director of the BBC is appointed by the UK government, though. How would you answer that question? The chairman of the Federal Reserve is appointed by the US president. The Federal Reserve doesn't take policy direction from the US president. The BBC shouldn't be taking media direction from the prime minister or the government. That's my understanding, unless something's changed or I'm misunderstanding that.
Go shout over
You're telling me you sat at the table with Joe Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu for 5 minutes, you wouldn't say anything?
Well, this is why I
Sitting
made
next
the
to his
point
main
to
spokesman.
focus my speech on these remarks and to criticize Russia for basically following in U.S.
So here's what
steps by
bothers
bombing
us.
Syria.
Here's what,
Yeah.
finish this conversation.
if I can understand,
You talk about Russia, I'll bring you in.
Shouldn't be, but do they? Question mark. Well, I tend to like wait for evidence before I make a claim, and if no evidence has been presented, I probably wouldn't just jack off. Just asking questions over it. I would probably see if there's any evidence of that happening.
You went there with respect, Jill was.
That's fair.
On the day you posted that video, on the 17th of December 2015, Russian warplanes bombed a residential area in Aleppo, killed 8 people, including 4 kids. 10 days after you went to that dinner in Russia, on 20th of December, Russian warplanes bombed a marketplace in Idlib, killed over 40 Syrian people in the area. Did you ever condemn any of that? Did you feel bad about being in Russia, talking about peace while they're dropping bombs?
Well, that was the point. That was one of the points in my actual remarks. Well, whose has worked? Yes, but I was also on that.
Your building is complete.
I just want to say, whoever's helping her, whoever's coaching her, whoever's the puppet master running the strings, you did an amazing job.
She did a great job.
They did an amazing job from the moment Biden drops out, forcing Biden to drop out. Right, whatever they're doing, whoever's writing those speeches, getting her to deliver them, coaching her, she's nailing it. She nailed that one speech. She's like, say it to my face. Everybody's cheering.
Yeah, she nailed it, dude.
And then last night, to me, when I was like, oh my God, this is jiu-jitsu, where she was like, if you go to his rallies, his crowds are boring, they're tired, they all leave her. My crowds are the best crowds. I have the number one crowd. He couldn't help himself.
And she got him. She baited him on that. She walked him right into it.
100%. 100%. See, the difference in that debate was not a difference in, like, who's going to have better policies, who's going to be better for the country. The difference in the debate, in my opinion, was who was better prepared. She was way better prepared. And even when it came to answering tough questions, instead of answering, she would just say things that she believes.
Yes, sure.
And they sounded real good.
Yeah,
and that's the sound.
Wow. Joe Rogan figures out how all politicians talk.
My opinion was who was better prepared. She was way better prepared. And even when it came to answering tough questions, instead of answering, she would just say things that she believed.
Yes, sure.
And they sounded
This is how Trump talks all the time, by the way.
real good.
Yeah,
And that's the sound.
I don't know why, but somebody linked me something, and I was scrolling through Trump's website, and I was looking at the policy platforms. I was like, I wonder how dumb these are. First of all, Jesus Christ. But I was like scrolling through some of this. Dedicated, forgotten men and women of America. Chapter 4, bring back the American dream and make it affordable again for families, young people, and everyone. Our commitment. Republicans offer a plan to make the American dream affordable again. We commit to reducing housing, education, and healthcare costs while lowering everyday expenses and increasing opportunities. Okay. 1. Housing affordability. To help new home buyers, Republicans will reduce mortgage rates. How? By slashing inflation. Okay. Slashing inflation? Wait, so did the Biden admin increase, did they increase the inflation rates? They just raised it? We're gonna raise inflation today? You're gonna lower inflation? Okay. Open limited portions of federal lands to allow for new home construction? Where are these federal lands that are reserved that people want to go and build homes on? What do we, Yosemite? Or the Grand Canyon? What do we, I know there are federal lands all across the US, but Montana? Where? Arizona? Yeah, where are we going? But, okay. Promote home ownership through tax incentives and support for first-time homebuyers and cut unnecessary regulations that raise housing costs. Why is regulations capitalized here? Why are tax incentives? Why is this capitalized? What do we, okay. Accessible higher education. To reduce the cost of higher education, Republicans will support the creation of additional, drastically more affordable alternatives to a traditional four-year college degree. What? Affordable healthcare. Healthcare and prescription drug costs are out of control. Republicans will increase transparency, promote choice and competition. Why are we capitalizing random words? And expand access to new affordable healthcare and prescription drug options. How? We will protect Medicare and ensure seniors receive the care they need without being burdened by excessive costs. Okay. Lower everyday costs. Republicans will reduce the regulatory burden, lower energy costs, and promote economic policies that drive down the cost of living and prices for everyday goods and services. What is this? Yeah, I know this. Big things.
I am the Iron Hand. Our warriors have engaged.
President Harris reported a comprehensive plan to build 3 million more rental units and homes that are affordable and natural housing supply prices in the first term. She'll cover to make sure we build more housing fast and penalize the firms that set forward available homes to drive up prices for local home buyers. Legislation to outlaw new forms of price fixing by corporate landlords. And then about first-time home buyers up to $25,000. There's 4 things listed in here. I think most of these are dumb, but hey, at least she's listing stuff. It feels like Tim Walz cannot possibly be real, which I think it's why Republicans keep trying to find something about him that is evil or bad, but I just feel like here's this man who's masculine without being really alpha, who hunts, who shoots, who is a teacher, who is a veteran, he's just a good dad, a good husband, he bleeds the nation, he's not trying to be president, he doesn't have bigger ambitions, and he's happy to be second banned to a woman. Like you made him in a lab. That's the perfect thing.
Because that house becomes a home. To some of these folks, you're a real estate mogul, venture capitalist, whatever, that's just an asset to be traded and sold to whoever you want. For us, it's a place we gather around the kitchen table to talk to our kids about what happened at school. That's what Kamala Harris wants for you.
The kitchen table, guys.
Bailouts.
Yes.
It's our children, our poor children.
Gregory, when you come home, open your post office box and
Oh, they do post office box. Do they do kitchen table bills around the table, or
find
just
a
PO box
huge
here?
stack of bills. It's discouraging. Because bills are such a discouraging thing to find when you open your post office box.
Post office.
And that
Wait, 48 seconds.
Many of which will not become apparent for years to come. The long and short of it is that things are going to get bad before they get better.
I actually don't think the situation is quite so grim. I think that the economy actually is on the rebound.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I don't believe in this gloom and doom stuff. I think that the future is very bright. You know, as long as we all pull up our
I'm sorry,
bootstraps.
just to clarify, I did not mean to say.
Did you say a random time in the video, or?
What she wants for you.
So teenage boys may have sat around and created their version of weird science, but this is the weird science that America wants, huh?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I would have worn a bra on my head to make this man too. I really felt like, truly, when this man came along, and he was my choice, I was hoping they would choose him from the beginning. It feels like he cannot possibly be real, which I think is why the Republicans keep trying to find something about him that is evil or bad or weird, or, you know, they tried to make tampon Tim.
Bro, I think this was yesterday.
Understood. Justice shall be swift.
This quote is just unreal. I feel like we hit rock bottom, or do we need maybe we need an N-word slur? That's rock bottom.
The mayor, other local officials have said there's just no evidence of what you're saying, that it's baseless, those claims. Can't you just make your argument about immigration?
It was this.
Just once and for all, you again started this in part by saying that, at which Donald Trump repeated on the debate stage, that, and he didn't say anything about the policies that you're talking about. He just said Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is a rumor that has no basis with evidence?
Dana, the evidence is the first-hand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. And by the way, I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the American media ignored it. There was a congressional hearing just last week of angel moms who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their children. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat meat. If I have to, create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people.
What are you thinking? Why would you even? How can this combination of words even fall from your lips?
Talking about cat memes. If I have to create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. You had one interview with her. You talk about pushing back against me, Dana. You didn't push back against the fact that she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just said that you're creating a story. Sorry, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you create. So that the eating dogs and cats thing is not.
Dana, it comes from first-hand accounts from my constituents. I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it. I didn't create 20,000 illegal migrants coming into Springfield thanks to Kamala Harris's policies. Her policies did that, but yes, we created the actual focus.
Command me. I know it's popular on a lot of corners of the left to say that we have a both sides problem.
And I'm not going to say we're always perfect. I'm not going to say that conservatives always get things exactly right. But you know the big difference between conservatives and liberals is that no one has tried to kill Kamala Harris in the last couple of months, and 2 people now have tried to kill Donald Trump in the last couple of months. I'd say that.
Just as a heads up, and I don't know if the Kamala campaign is leaning into this or not. There have been several really large things. We just don't talk about it because we're just used to conservatives just being insane, like being terrorists, right? Like, Kamala Harris was 20 feet from a live pipe bomb on January 6th that was in the grass, right? Like 20 feet from where she was walking. That was found by the Secret Service. That pipe bomb was live. The Gretchen Whitmer plot, okay, involved a group of conservatives that were willing to go through with a plan to abduct the governor of Michigan. It's unhinged, okay? The Proud Boys, you know, and the Oath Keepers made sophisticated plans via Signal to break into the Capitol building and kick people out and hold it down for as long as possible. The Proud Boys were the first people to break in to the Capitol building. Without them there might not have ever been a riot inside the building itself. There was another guy that we just don't talk about anymore. I guess we just expect conservatives to have no standards. There was an insane fucking guy who mailed, or at least tried to mail, bombs to politicians that we don't talk about any of these people. We just don't talk about any of these people. This was a story for like 3 days, and then we just moved on. But
have you reached a verdict? I can take
that's pretty strong evidence that the left needs to tone down the rhetoric and needs to cut this crap out. Somebody's going to get hurt by it, and it's going to destroy this country. Somebody is going to get hurt, and you think about what an incredible wound it would open up in the United States of America, all of us. And I promise I will do my part to tone down the rhetoric, but in particular,
the Paul Pelosi guy.
The people telling you that Donald Trump needs to be eliminated, you guys need to cut it out. You're going to get somebody hurt. And I know it's popular.
A reminder that Kamala Harris called for the murder of President Trump in an Ellen interview from 2018. Very poorly, just like Kamala Harris.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be? Does one of us have to come out alive?
This happens again and again and again on the left. I am sick.
Why wasn't the guy? This was in 2018. How is it possible if Democrats are the ones making all these threats? Why did that guy mail pipe bombs, or not pipe bombs? No, they were pipe bombs to Democratic people. What's happening here? What's going on here?
Insufficient gold.
Is the cop in the wrong here? Oh, hell yeah. Cop videos? Somebody said, why can't they just bite the bullet and say they were wrong? Why double down? Because this is like the entirety of the conservative media agenda now. They don't talk about anything in reality anymore. Now it's you find one fictitious thing, and then you blow it the fuck up. And then when you get called out on the fictitious thing, you go, well, isn't it bad enough that we even believed this? Remember when we did the debate with Lauren Southern and the Bongers, and it was like, hey, this story was originally based on like a total lie, you know that, right? And they're like, yeah, but it's not about that. It's about like the larger trend of things. And it's like, no, I'm pretty sure this blew up initially because of this story. And then that one guy was like, we didn't target the mosque. It was actually across the street. And it just happened to be the building next to it. Really? That just...
We disagree strongly with the left's policies. We don't dislike them. They seem to dislike us. So that I think is a problem. I don't mean to generalize it, but we
talked about the second attempt on Trump's life. No, I don't know what there is to talk about. It sounds like some guy got arrested outside of the golf course. I don't even think he shot. Did he shoot at anything? Apparently he never even saw the president. But he was going there wanting to shoot him, I guess? I haven't read all the details of it yet.
So that I think is a...
But it sounded boring.
Problem. I don't mean to generalize it, but both sides, let's even say it, on both sides, we've got work to do. I'd like to be part of creating a policy discussion. And remember that we're all Americans in the end.
I think that is a significant and important sentiment that we're all Americans in the end. It's obviously important to condemn political violence in all shapes and forms, but I am curious about how you make assessments given, as you said, that it's a two-way street, because pretty much since he rode down the escalator back in 2015, Donald Trump has been a firebrand. He's made accusations that Hillary Clinton, that Barack Obama, that Joe Biden, that Kamala Harris are all trying to destroy this country. He also uses rhetoric that dehumanizes people, including immigrants. And notably, there was a mass shooter in El Paso a few years ago that echoed that specific kind of language. So I wonder what your message would be to the former president himself. As you said, it's a two-way street on toning down the rhetoric.
And Boris, we could probably debate this and go tit for tat along the way, because when he says things like Comrade Kamala or Sleepy Joe or it's stupid people doing the Iran nuke deal and things like that. But he also said that the illegals that are coming here are poisoning our youth, poisoning our citizens. I've heard it all, but truly what he meant there was fentanyl, drugs, that sort of thing. They're poisoning the blood. It gets presented, in my
Then why not say that?
opinion, throughout much of the media in the darkest ways possible. And Vice President Harris and Joe Biden, very often gets painted in the best way possible. So, but then you have other networks that certainly laid out in the opposite of that. All I would say is we ought to really consider our language, not make things personal, lose the personal attacks. Let's have a policy.
Okay, I'm good. I don't care. Personally attack Trump all you fucking want. Until he stops using nicknames for people, I think say whatever.
And a half for you, following up on what I was asking earlier, is why is it so important for America to lead in cryptocurrency adoption and innovation?
Well, it's crypto, it's AI, it's so many other things. AI, speaking of an interesting future, it needs tremendous electricity capability beyond anything I've ever heard. It never made sense to me, but this is what it needs. If you take all of the electricity coming out of the U.S., in order to be dominant in AI, you need twice that amount, just for this one thing. Who would think that? You need twice the electricity we already have. And you got to get started. I mean, you have to be, if you're the U.S., you have to get started. You don't want to be left in the dust. And China's already building electric plants, and they want to build them for the AI, and it's very important. But you need tremendous electric, and in this country, because of our strong environmental impact statement problems that we have, China doesn't have those problems. They don't do them. They just build. They say build over here, build over there. With us, you have to go through years. But I'll make it possible to create tremendous amounts of electricity very rapidly. But people don't know that. People don't know that you need double the electricity of what we already have. So you want to get in, whether it's crypto or AI or other things that are coming along, and it's part of the game. We want to have a great country. We want to stay at the top. We're making things now. We're starting, and it started under my administration that there was no chance of ever even getting involved in for a long time. We're leading the pack in so many ways. One of the things I'm very proud of is Space Force. We were getting lapped in space by China and by Russia. And now we are the leader in space. And I have to tell you, Elon is doing a fantastic job. He's my friend. He endorsed me for president, so strongly. It was incredible.
He's my friend. He endorsed me.
Quickly.
Sneeko grift falling apart. Sneeko then versus now. Oh, we should maybe read this article too.
The reason that they're lying, so comfortable lying about a Christian country, their Christian brothers in Haiti, is because they don't consider them. They don't consider them people. They don't consider them brothers at all. The reason that the earthquake might have happened in Haiti, not to make a public, is they practice something called voodoo. They call themselves Christians in Haiti, but at the same time they practice a voodoo, like an African voodoo version of Christianity. But the vast majority of Asians you've ever met and talked to.
Are they doing a then versus now without putting the dates in, or did I miss it?
Haiti, because they don't consider them people. They don't consider them brothers at all. The reason that the earthquake might have happened in Haiti, not to make a public, is because they practice something called voodoo. They call themselves Christians in Haiti, but at the same time they practice a voodoo like an African.
Battle for Sneeko's soul is still ongoing. You can save him. Yeah, the battle for Sneeko's soul is a civil war. Okay, this kid is fighting himself constantly, every day in his own mind.
Voodoo version of Christianity. But the vast majority of Asians, if you've ever met and talked to them, they're Christian, they're Catholic. They like will bury period blood and like mix it with hair, put it in the ground. They'll do demonic rituals where people start like vibrating and shaking. You hear a language that you don't understand, and he's like, these are retards. Some of the people like were horses, so maybe that was God punishing this island for practicing witchcraft and trying to conjure the devil in order to get power. So all they say is you should just leave. You should leave America. Leave the country. Bye. We don't like you. This should be a white country. When was this ever a white country? White people created America. White people created America. The United States of America is a white country. It was built by white people. It was created by white people. It is what it is. I'm not white. I live here. I know I'm never really gonna. But that's the truth. And everybody likes to cope about that.
Sign up to Zatea. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Fact, because it seems racist for some reason. But white people are the only group of people that aren't even allowed to have their own nation. And then the argument is like Japan should be for Japanese people. But this country is not a white country. If we say Japan should say Japanese, nobody cares. If we say Africa should say black, nobody cares. When white people try to have their own country, no! Take all these refugees now! Why? Stop sucking Hitler off. What are you talking about? Ow! Why? Stop sucking Hitler off.
10 and 5 seconds. On to question 3, do you think it's okay to push conspiracies, like the rumor situation? I'm all for fighting fire with fire, but what do you mean conspiracies? Or that her and Trump are banging? I think there's a decent reason to believe that, but I don't think this is like a crazy, like super implicating conspiracy. Like, is it okay to push conspiracies that, like, they canceled Firefly because they hate science fiction? I don't know. Like, I don't think it's a huge. I don't think that conspiracy has a bunch of effects, if you believe it or not, that are like downstream from that.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I've come to realize, and I didn't know this, a lot of people warned me about this, but conservative ideas to a lot of people, it's just white supremacism. It doesn't go back to God, it goes back to Hitler. It was Hitler evil. Was Thomas Jefferson evil? They're not switching sides.
Leute, die da gerade auf jeden Fall
on the content.
Drawing attention to the Kristowi channel's tracing. At one point, she had more than 250,000 subscribers, and although her channel has since been privatized through archives, we can see that her videos about Kristowi, of which there are many, have all accrued hundreds of thousands of views. She'll be a major player in the story later, but for now, just know that her videos played a part in drawing attention to the Kristowi channel's tracing tendencies. What's more, our very own darling canceled commentator Creepshow Art
Let's go!
got involved, which just goes to show how far
We need to talk about Kristowi. I love videos titled We Need to Talk About. We need to talk about Kristowi. Creepshow Art's such a funny person. Okay, I clearly typed the wrong thing. I don't know what I just found. Yeah, let's see this.
It's not a safe space where people can open up about things that have happened to them, or a place where you're going to.
Shut up. Her voice is so annoying. How did anyone watch this person, bro? She sounds like she's chewing on peanut butter.
To be greeted by upstanding citizens of the world who just share differing worldviews and don't take issue with you at all. I might sound overly paranoid, but
even like the production quality is so bad. Her commentary is so bad. How did anyone watch this person? How did anyone like this videos?
Strong Smut continues to draw smut and like Strong Smut. I don't send drawings of dogs to people who say please don't do that, and I also don't send to people who say don't send me. It's just common decency.
Thank you very much for your riveting commentary. Brave take. Part of these accusations actually spread. With all of these callouts mobilized,
Why does she talk like that? I think because she's fat.
the masses, people began to flood Kristowi's comment section with accusations and accusations. And this leads us to our third surface level controversy, his toxic responses to critics. At first, David attempted to save face by feigning innocence and either deleting accusatory comments or just outright disabling comments on some of his videos. On rare occasions though, if someone made him mad enough, they would be treated to a response that didn't really always seem to match up with his 16-year-old uwu soft girl persona. For example, in this classy comment, he makes the audacious claim that anyone who doubts his word is a little rat and is...
Wait, that comment is awesome. I want to read that. There will always be a little rat out there commenting and saying no. This is false. Maybe your dad touches them. They suffer in school. Or it is... Ha ha ha. More publicity for the channel. Thanks for your support. Español. Siempre habrá un ratita ardido por ahí comentado y diciendo que no, que esto es falso, pero bueno, tal vez su papá los toca. Sufren en la escuela. O es retardo. Ya, ya, ya. Más publicidad para el canal. Gracias por su apoyo. Activating Stoic Gorilla grind set. Thank you. Thanks for the big dono. Jesus Christ. I see you giving big donos to Nick, bro. You must be freaking loaded. Ja, ja, ja. Ja, ja, ja. That's how we laugh in Spain. In Bulgaria, the way they laugh is like... Bulgarians invented the sacred method of cooking with their feet. You guys may not know that. That's some secret Bulgarian lore. Look it up.
And they must do badly in school or get touched by their father. Truly a wordsmith. Unfortunately for him, though, these types of comments do much to evade the criticisms, and he quickly deleted most of them. At this point, it was clear that if he wanted to salvage his rapidly deteriorating reputation, a more tactful response was warranted. And so,
I never understand. What is the... I feel like it shows such, like, weak character insecurity to be arguing with people in comment sections. If you're a YouTuber, going out of your way to argue with random commenters is such a waste of time. Like, how do you expect to convince those people of anything? Like, when I was seeing, like, Nerd City, for example, go on Reddit to, like, argue all day with people, I was just, like, I was thinking, like, why? Why the fuck would you do that? If you want to respond to, like, false claims about you, just, like, make a video about it. And then it's like, oh, we're going to bring attention to them if I do that. It's like, okay, well then just don't respond. You're already bringing attention to them by responding on your public-facing platform where you're going to, you know, then get people to make videos about what you said. So, like, there's no, just don't be arguing on Reddit, man. Stop arguing with people on Reddit. Stop arguing with, like, haters and detractors on Twitter. Just shut the fuck up and make content, man.
oh, the world was treated to a YouTuber apology so silly it would have had moist critical jumping for joy. In this apology, David essentially claimed that although he had tried to turn his fan base into a quote-unquote family, which is a type of language we'll hear a lot from him later, and be open and caring with all of
I'm sorry, but I tried to make this a family, and I like them for supporting me, but there are people who do not understand it and only look for visits and subscribers using my name, man, leaving me as trash before everyone. I'm sorry, but I will no longer answer your messages for Google, Twitter, Facebook, and accounts because people without escrupulos are taking screenshots and altering them so that I look bad before you all. I'm sorry for these who are truly fans of the channel. Now, I understand why the YouTubers do not respond to their fans, man. To the question that if I copy others, it's yes, I copied other artists, but that's when I started. And I did it to learn. Anyone does. But today, I showed you what my true art is. I hope you understand and do not be fooled by people. Thanks to all. Thanks, family.
Sound Italian?
I'm sorry, but I will not answer your messages by Google, Facebook, and Twitter, and other accounts because people with scrupulos are taking screenshots and altering them so I look bad before you all. I'm sorry for those. I'm sorry for those who are true fans of my channel.
That's a little better. Italian. There you go.
them. He had been betrayed by people who had...
My name is Cristalli. I make an animation meme. I used to trace, but it's not a big deal. I also love kids.
Had called him out and doctored screenshots to make him look bad. In terms of the tracing accusation...
The thing about a mama's recipe is it tastes better when you're a...
Yeah.
Well, David outright confirms them, claiming that, yes, he had copied the work of others, but he had only done so because he was simply trying to learn how to get better, as he had only just started creating art. Furthermore, he claimed that from that point onwards, he would begin to show his own original art. This was false. Finally, he closed things out by fishing for pity in one of the most...
Realmente no sé qué hacer, y me pasan muchas cosas por la cabeza.
I'll stop doing the accents. I'm having too much fun.
Chris Ways imaginable. He claimed he disgraced him because it was easier.
La verdad, yo estoy haciendo un cambio, pero me cuesta, porque estoy adquiriendo Parkinson.
Is he saying he has Parkinson's? I don't know what adquirendo means. Parkinson. truth is, I'm making a change, but it's hard for me because I'm acquiring Parkinson's. He's saying he's coming down with Parkinson's at like 20 years old, but he's also pretending to be a 16-year-old girl. Acquiring? Okay. Yeah, I can see it in the translation down here.
Understood.
To do that than to create his own art. Because
Guys, I traced people's art because I have Parkinson's. It's literally like the Brad Taste excuse. I'm disabled. I'm disabled.
he was developing symptoms of Parkinson's. Now, beyond the fact that it's exceedingly rare for anyone to show any signs of Parkinson's disease before the age of 60, I have to say, I personally think a better solution when having difficulties drawing would be to simply not draw instead of...
Also, if you have Parkinson's, how are you going to trace? You're not even going to remember the fact that you're tracing. You're going to be drawing and you'll be like, oh, what was I drawing? You're just going to draw a big dick on the screen. I feel like this guy, this Cristalli guy, was almost like trolling with his responses, like baiting people to like figure out that he was full of shit. Because like, say, you have to be a complete to think that you can use Parkinson's as an excuse for your misconduct on YouTube, you know.
Purposefully
Parkinson's not great. Affects the nervous system. Oh, this is the physical one. Okay, I'm sorry. Chronic brain disorder affects the nervous system and causes movement problems. Okay, I'm a fool. My bad. That's the guys who are like, it's like Michael J. Fox, right? Like that.
So today I just wanted to talk about is that.
That's what Parkinson's is, right? Sorry to offend anyone with Parkinson's. Just, you know. It's that kind of thing, right? Shaky hands.
I'm saying that I'm gay.
Doesn't Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future have that? Or does he have ALS? What does he have? What does Michael J. Fox have? He does have Parkinson's. Good actor.
Parkinson's. No, beyond the fact that it's exceedingly rare for anyone to show any signs of Parkinson's disease before the age of 60. I have to say, I personally think a better solution to difficulties drawing would be to simply not draw instead of purposefully making logs and trying to profit off his work. But as I always say, what do I know? Regardless, this apology also didn't go over quite that well, and it was also quickly deleted, as David attempted to once again go back to the strategy of just disabling comments and pretending there was no knowledge races surrounding him. Now, while the reactions to criticism we've seen so far have obviously been pretty abysmal, these are just the responses that David made publicly.
I can't stop thinking about that. If I ever get in like a controversy on YouTube, I'm gonna be like, I have Parkinson's. I'm disabled. That's gonna be my excuse.
Private, his responses to being questioned were far more disturbing.
What is this screenshot? Freddy Fazbear says to buy a rope. That's awesome.
Further called into question
It's so good.
quality of character. As a chief example of this,
It's
back
fire.
when he was first getting started on DeviantArt, David was contacted by Rosalie, who was one of the artists he was...
Rosalie. Why do I know this name too? Why do I shouldn't know these people's names. I'm 22 years old. I'm a 22-year-old man. Okay, I have aggressive armpit hair. I should not know who the Rosalie is. RPG original meme collab. Why was that so loud?
Understood. Let the hunt begin.
Alright, we had enough. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. That was a bad idea. That was a really bad idea. That was a terrible idea.
So you can imagine that when she was talking to him, it wasn't the exchange. Understandably, Rosalie wanted him to stop using the art specifically. She took his tendency to rise into NSFW, because not only was he profiting off of it, but it was also just kind of creepy to turn her normally safe for work drawing into that. In response,
Isn't this isn't Nuxtaku getting shit for this right now? I only know this peripherally. I kind of tuned out of that controversy, but isn't Nuxtaku getting shit for Jaden Animations stuff? Something related to sexualized thumbnails of Jaden Animations. Why are people so obsessed with drawing Jaden Animations with the sexualized? I guess I assume it's because she's one of the few like female content creators who has a big audience who doesn't sexualize herself. So immediately people are just gravitated to that because she doesn't like it. Oh, the Nuxtaku extension I've seen. This is fun. I like this. Whatever this thing is, whatever this extension is, this is awesome. I should get this extension. It's not. Martin Luther King, we have a dream speech. Nuxtaku like reacting. That's awesome. That's dopeness. Nux is always in some shit. Yeah, man, it seems like a lot of his past backing really comes back to bite him. It seems like people were uncritical for a long time because he existed in the anime gamer community, and then he came to the commentary community, and eventually everybody figured out too much of the shit he's done. Yeah. People find Jaden's avatar hot. Well, you say that, but like, what is there to find hot about it? It's a cartoon. What is hot about this?
As of now,
Like, what are people finding attractive about this inherently? It's a stick figure. It doesn't even look like a human. It doesn't even look like a real person. It's just a drawing of a girl with hair. It's like the least gooner, unsexual drawing of a girl with hair. Why are people busting to this? You know what I'm saying? There's nothing there. There's nothing to bust to.
Claimed that this was simply an example of Rule 34 of the
It's like the most asexual drawing ever.
in action, and was thus inevitable. Because if he
They like her long hair. How many people have long hair in the world that aren't Jaden Animations, dude? A lot!
didn't make the cut for drawings, then someone else surely would. Insert obligatory boy math joke here. He then began to spam her DMs with his NSFW drawings, which I can only imagine was horribly traumatic for her eyeballs, because if you haven't noticed, this guy is not exactly the next Van Gogh. When she insisted that he stop, he threatened to draw more NSFW of her characters and upload it. Then he started threatening her directly, claiming that he—
This guy's like a digital sexual harasser gooner. He's like, hey, you don't like me? Well, I'm gonna draw you really hot and send it to you. Like, what's wrong with this guy? I'm just the messenger, bro. Internet finds a way. Yeah, they do, for sure. He also sort of slolly for his thumbnails. Yeah, we talked about that. I talked about that on Shud's stream.
He knew her IP address and personal information, and that she would do well to obey
To be fair, he did do that a while ago. He doesn't do it now, in all fairness.
him. All of this was made a lot more creepy by later revelations that David kept pictures of Rosali's art pinned to the wall in his room because God knows what was going on.
He was gooning, dude. He's in the goon cave. Once again, I have to question, like, what is so attractive about this, like, I mean, no offense to Rosali, maybe her art has gotten better with time, but, like, what is so attractive to this guy about this? This, like, deviant art.
Quickly we shall have revenge.
But, like, what is so attractive about this drawing?
We must act.
This, like,
My blades first.
kangaroo girl. There's almost nothing even human about this. This is why I've always found it so perplexing that people jerk off to cartoons for them form. It's like, what is there attractive about it? What are you getting off of? It's not a person. It barely even resembles a person. I guess it approximates a person, obviously. You can say that. This is kind of meant to look like a person, but it's so cartoonish. What are you finding attractive about it? Like us, with the extra protein helps with food packs. True. I assume it's just addiction. I assume it's just going further and further down some degenerate rabbit hole, but I just don't get it.
That unholy crevice. No, thankfully.
Like, there's literally, dude, on the internet. Like, sorry, I hate to keep going on about this. There's literally real girls out there on the internet that make you can like jerk off to. Why are you jerking off to a drawing? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. There's real females in the world.
When DeviantArt realized the kind of things that David was getting up to, they did eventually ID his account, making them the first platform to take action against him. However, across other platforms, mainly Instagram, he would be allowed to fester, and his private outbursts would only continue to become more and more concerning. Earlier, I mentioned David's habit of hiring voice actresses to portray his characters, specifically without crediting them, so as to maintain the illusion that he himself was providing those voices. However, some of these actresses actually wanted to be credited for their work, or at least to be able to talk openly about the roles they'd been playing. But obviously, David couldn't allow that, as it could call into question his real-life identity.
It could expose him.
In July of 2018, after a user named Blue Artist Draws, who had been doing voice acting for the channel, decided that they wanted to speak openly about their work. They were contacted by an extremely angry user. The ensuing conversation would culminate in David's absolutely
Thanks for the gift of everything.
At this moment, I will fix some papers, and I will leave my country to look for you.
This guy's insane. This guy's like, I'm gonna get a fake passport and then I'm gonna go find you. What? He's threatening someone? He's threatening a
At last.
A voice actor? What? What the? Okay, so this is just like an insane person. Like, not only is he stupid and bad at art and like creepy, he's also just like, he's nuts. He's like, dude, imagine if you get in like drama with someone on the internet and you're like, I'm coming to your house right now when you're serious about it. That's so funny. Sorry guys, I can't hang out this weekend. I'm coming down with Parkinson's. Good luck, man. Drink some liquid IV, you'll feel better soon. This is an incel. I mean, incel is not even the proper word. I don't know what you even call this.
Now, it's impossible for us to know if David's threats ever had any weight behind them. However, they'd clearly escalated from him claiming that
he's probably too stupid to figure out how to get on a plane, to be honest, but still. Kind of a concerning thing to be messaged if you don't know who he is. Or even if you do know, you know. It's not cool to think that somebody has the intent to hurt you mortally.
Have Rosali's IP address, as he was now literally
throw him in Arkham Asylum.
Someone in real life and presumably cause them harm. Ordinarily, I might be tempted to dismiss messages like these as pitiful attempts at intimidation.
Bro, King of Nothing really lost his shit. Lost his marbles for a bit there, didn't he? You're a victim. Stay indoors so no one can hurt you. Come to VidCon, I'll show you mad. Or are you scared you're gonna hide behind your computer screen? Jeez. Shout out Smaggle. I'm 23 years old, so Jaden reminds me of an ASDF NPC. Yeah, I mean, once again, Jaden literally looks like, I like trains! Like, but those videos were awesome. These videos were sick. These videos were like amazing.
Got your nose.
Command.
Look out, he's got a nose!
Though I be damned.
These were awesome, dude. 2008 this came out? Damn, was it that long ago? I think I was watching these when I was like 8, 9,
The time has come.
I was really into these. I think up until some point until I really liked it. And then Minecraft became a thing. Then it was Fallen Kingdom. It was like the swag, but ASDF was super, super good.
Quickly.
Thank you for blessing me with that memory.
From internet users who, in real life, are unlikely to be quite as confrontational as they are online. However, given some of the things that David was later found guilty of, I don't think we should discount any of these past concerning messages. Even at the time, people became extremely concerned for Blue Artist Draws, and various posts were made across sites like YouTube, DeviantArt, and even Wattpad in order to spread awareness about David's behind-the-scenes behavior. As such, his channel fell under more scrutiny.
Tom, do you think Mr. Beast is a normal dude with a great work ethic who bit off more than he can chew, or he's a bad person? Huge lurker, Scoob? Huge lurker, Scoob! Yeah, I don't think he's a normal person. I don't think great work ethic is described as like psychotic work ethic. I think it's probably, if I had to guess, was he directly trying to be a bad person, like hurt people? Probably not. If I had to guess, it's like Mr. Beast's ultimate concern was success above all else, and the moral implications of some of the things he was doing, like hiring the RSO or like being around Chris Tyson, those were things he kind of pushed to the side. Kind of just like, oh, I don't want to think about it. I'm Mr. Beast. I've got bigger things to worry about. Which is not like a good excuse, but I think that is probably, and this is pure speculation, if I had to guess, that's the kind of person he is.
Than before, and given both the revelation that the voices within his videos weren't actually his, and the evidence of his degenerate outbursts in private, it wasn't long before.
At this moment, I will look for some papers and come find you.
We'll start to come to the conclusion
I will
that
find you.
Stolly might have been hiding something from them, and that should give us a good transition point for going to the next phase of David's career, as people begin to treat him with wariness, and it began to become sentiment that people would best steer clear of him. But there's something that I expected to mention, something that occurred a decent amount of time before this, and which should have immediately caused David's perceived threat level within the community to skyrocket, but which somehow seems to have been dismissed by many, and it all had to do with the user name account, or more specifically,
Elliot sounds more Jewish than Waluigi. What is it? The name Elliot? Or Elliot as a person, his voice sounds.
Look at that. Elliot sounds even more Jewish than Waluigi.
How do you do a Jew voice?
Hummus. What you gotta do is you gotta go to the store. You gotta get what you need, alright? Alright? Get the diamonds. Get the diamonds, Samuel.
How's that? I tried to do like Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems type voice. I think that was kind of somewhat accurate.
That's what you gotta do. Alright?
Copy Ben Shapiro. He doesn't even sound that Jewish.
On May 22nd, 2018, just a few months
Jewish
into
mob,
David's
yeah.
rapidly
1940s Jew.
expanding regime of terror, an unbelievably disturbing video was posted by LimaCat titled
Cristalli asked me for nudes. No!
He asked me to use and sent me of his OC. Send to everyone.
Oh,
And
shizzle.
Given the title, I'm sure I don't exactly have to
Yeah, let's go.
spell out for you what this video was trying to allege, but let's hit the highlights. This video consisted of a series of screenshots, supposedly from conversations that had taken place between the uploader and David himself. Notably, Lima claims to have been 13 years old at the time of upload.
Yeah, I mean, that seems so unbelievable just based on the spelling mistakes, the improper use of grammar, some words being capitalized, some not, and how bad the art is. I think that's probably a 13-year-old if I had to guess. Or someone pretending to be 13-year-old.
And they claim that David is a 20 to 22-year-old man. As we'll see later in articles documenting his arrest, this was false, as we can extrapolate.
The National Civil Police revealed that the detainee is David Alejandro Pascual Argueta, 19 years old, and during the raid, the agency's hard drives were arrested.
We must act.
According to the investigations by the MP, the arrested man used anime characters to capture the attention of girls, and by impressing them with anime drawings, he held conversations on the social network Instagram by strengthening the bond of friendship. He asked them for intimate photographs. The MP has established that the detainee received photographs of girls and then drew and designed them in anime to sell them on independent website. Oh shit. He got photos of these girls and then he drew them and sold them? Oh, that's so dark. That's so dark, bro.
From those that he would have been either 18 or 19 years old at this time. Regardless, this is still an accusation being made by a 13-year-old against a grown man, so keep
The time has come.
Although the screenshots are seemingly presented out of order, it's not too difficult to piece together a sequence of events. We can see from the comment section that Lima and David had previously collaborated to make an animation, which he then posted to the Cristalli channel. This reflects possibly the first instance of David employing a tactic he would use many times when talking to his fans. He would entice them with the promise of collaborating with him, which would not only provide them with a way to get closer to him.
It's like, it's such a classic case of greed, you know? It's not like some kind of borderline case of raider where it's like literally offering a child a benefit in exchange for getting to have some kind of sexual thing. It's so bad. I knew it was going there or something. God damn it. Shapiro voice nasally like, facts don't care about your feelings. Or feelings more high pitched at the end. Yeah, I think that's good.
The thing you need to understand about Cristalli is that Cristalli is a freak. And it's absolutely disgusting to see someone like this on the YouTube platform to this day. Not only that, but Cristalli is also a libtard, which I would argue is potentially worse than being a because not only are they creeping on children, they're also supporting the corporate, demagogue, demonic hegemony of the Democratic Party, which is pushing through avenues like Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton.
I think that's pretty good.
Absolutely disgusting. Next meme. Haha, Obama is gone. Next meme.
I think that's pretty good.
But also an opportunity to gain a following, as he would platform them on his
Hey, Brett Cooper. You like my Ben Shapiro accent? I can do a lot.
Brett Cooper, I could even do the Jewish 1940s accent. Do you like it?
For expanding channel, people have speculated that this served the dual purpose of getting people to not only let their guard down, as they believed that he was doing something nice for them, but also creating a perceived debt that he could hold over their heads, claiming that he was the only reason anyone paid attention to them on the internet. But we'll discuss that more later. For now, just know that it's likely this collaboration between David and LimaCat was a method for him to initiate contact with her, and once he'd done so, he began to make requests of her in return. Specifically, it seems as though he would frequently request images of her performing poses, which he claimed he needed to serve as references for his art. While this is already bad enough, given some of the generic images he provided as references for the poses that he wanted, he would also do things like daring her to take pictures in the shower, or begging for a picture of her without a bra. It's us all for that disgusting.
How did no one figure this out? This is before he had his like real downfall, isn't it? How did this get dismissed or not talked about more? This guy's a freaking throw his ass in Guantanamo Bay. It's not that far from where he lives. Throw his ass right over there, please. Jesus Christ. Freaky emoji.
We must act.
No, porque pregunta. No sé, solo curiosidad.
In response, it says, no, I wonder. Lima's video seems to mostly focus on that David had sent her NSFW images of the character Crystali, and while that is obviously
What's interesting is like even the kid was communicating to him that like probably something wrong might be going on, and it's kind of weird. And this guy didn't even see that as like a problem, right? What a sick. You know it's bad when even the child talking to you knows that there could be something afoot, and you're still not off put by that.
degenerate and disgusting. I think we can all agree the worst part is certainly him allegedly requesting inappropriate pictures of her when she was only 13. Now, in the present day, this video sits at more than 150,000 views, making it one of the most popular videos about Crystali that remains on the internet, and the reception seems to have been generally supportive and understandably horrified at what David had allegedly been up to. In fact, even Nani, who I mentioned earlier, left a comment asking about how old David was at the time of these messages, showing that knowledge of these accusations had spread to some of the community's largest creators. As such, you might have expected that the community as a whole would band together to spread awareness and attempt to limit David's interaction with minors from this point on. After all, even if these accusations were difficult to verify, it seems important to at least consider their validity, because David was a creator who was, by the very nature of the content he produced, in close proximity with children. However, that doesn't exactly seem to be how the larger creators in the community saw it.
Well, I mean, surely they didn't not react. I'm sure they didn't like collab with him past that point, right? They weren't like chill with him. Maybe they just ignored him or saw the allegations and saw it as unverified / not super convincing. So maybe that's why they didn't react to it in that way. But surely they didn't like collab with him after that, right? I couldn't see that happening.
I hate to say this about Nani,
unless everybody else in the community is all children too,
because she would eventually become one of the main people who led the crusade against David and gathered his victims in order to try and get him arrested in real life. However, at this time, even she perhaps didn't view these allegations the attention they deserved. I commented earlier on how, by May of 2018, Nani had multiple videos about Crystali's tracing antics. However, what I didn't mention is that she actually took a couple of seconds out of one of her videos about his tracing to mention these accusations in passing.
There's one girl who says that he allegedly did these things. There's a video about it. I'll link the video to you. She says that she's 13, he's 20 or something like that, and he's been asking for nudes or like dirty drawings and stuff like that, which is, I guess, technically illegal because he's over the age of 20. So yeah, there's that, of course, and of course that's terrible in itself. However, I'm not going to get too much.
She also linked the video in the description, which
yeah, I feel like that probably should have been a bigger thing to talk about. I guess the problem is I haven't seen that video by that 13-year-old about Crystali, so I don't know how convincing it was or how dead to rights it was or if the DMs seemed real or not at the time. So, I mean, there could be a better explanation there, you know. But if it was 100% dead to rights, then it probably should have been talked about more, right?
May have been part of what drew so much visibility to it in the first place. However, the fact that Nani's video was mostly about Crystali's stupid apology for tracing and not about the direct accusations that...
I mean, obviously, I guess it goes without saying that they should go to the cops first, but, you know, it's obviously, if somebody's a predator with that online audience, it's good to inform that audience of it so that that person is stopped from procuring more victims.
The degenerate trying to take advantage of children is very interesting, and this is a theme that will only continue. Even months and months later, in November of 2018, when Nani posted a video discussing Crystali once again, she chose to focus on David's habits of tracing others' work to make NSFW Patreon, and this time she completely ignored the allegations. Again, I don't want to rag on him, and I understand how hard it is to broach the topic of serious allegations when you don't feel able to do so. Trust me, but I think it's really telling about this community that even half a year after David was accused of what is essentially making requesting CP, people were still criticizing him for drawing boobs onto the time OC and charging people $15 for it. These things are, of course, both wrong.
But was this community made up of children mostly? Like, how old was Rosalie or any of these people? Nani, how old were these people? Because if you're like 16 years old, I can understand you not like understanding the gravity of that as much as you're reminding yourself. And the other thing is, like, even if they were adults, like figuring out how, like I said, dead to rights substantiated the allegations were about Cristali, I think is a big point of contention here, because like if it was completely dead to rights, he was all the time, and that's one thing. But if it wasn't super convincing or compelling, or they, hadn't seen it, obviously not, they had seen it, but if it wasn't super dead to rights or compelling at the time, I can understand why they wouldn't want to talk about it,
But the tendency of communities like this to fixate on dramas that are largely trivial when one looks at the bigger picture is a problem I first noticed when researching for my Bandaluni video, which is even worse in this situation, but I digress. Even if people didn't attribute as much weight to these allegations as one might have expected, they still did begin to view David as a bit more dangerous of a presence. One could say that he graduated from being a loser to being a creep. And that does give us a segue into our next section, the era in which people were encouraged to steer clear of David, but still before he became public enemy number 1. So let's move into the second chapter of David's degenerate journey.
So this is when he was looking sussy, but I guess in the community's eyes he wasn't dead to rights.
My blades thirst.
Freaking. What's up, SFO?
Something that I feel I have to mention here is that at a certain point during the events I just described, it seems that David had decided to reveal his face. I feel weird not having a concrete place to put such a meaningful event in the timeline, but the original video in which he did reveal his face, along with obviously the dude's entire channel, has been deleted by now, and I can't find any archives, only re-uploads, meaning that it's really hard to place the date the video was uploaded. Overall, it's likely that in the midst of some of his private behaviors coming to light, David realized that it was much more trouble than to continue pretending he was a teenage girl, and as such, he showed the internet his true face, and told them to refer to him as Valdrox once again. Hi everyone, Future Norma here. I still don't know the exact date this reveal was made, but while I was editing, I stumbled upon this video by Roadkill Raccoon, which shows that even by that time, some people had
goddamn, the production quality of these channels is so awesome. Roadkill Raccoon.
My blades thirst.
Roadkill Raccoon. What is the channel? This is Roadkill Raccoon. This is straight up fire production quality right here. I mean, this is just amazing, right? I mean, the artistic prowess of this individual is so fire. This video is called Monk. Whoa, what the?
Command me.
Okay, so some kind of xenomorph parasite is taking over this monkey, seems. That's rather disturbing. I think the name of that channel lived up to its name. That's all I can say about that.
Discovered that David was Valdrox, and this had exposed him as a man. However, this video didn't get very many views, so David probably soldiered on with his lie for a little while longer before deciding to make the reveal official. So
Cristali is looking for booty. Once again, what a title. What a title. What a title.
Basically unchanged. Regardless, I wanted to at least mention this video, so...
Someday I want to make a video exposing it. I'll call it Tarded Jerker is looking for booty.
Now, I know it might be a bit confusing, since when people make videos about David, they referred to him as Cristali, but now he was Valdrox. Just keep in mind, Cristali is a character created by David, and the name of his channel, while Valdrox is another name for David himself. So while the majority of the internet would just call him Cristali, since that's the name of his channel, and that makes sense, his true fans, that is, people who are fans of him, the man behind the channel, would call him Valdrox.
The time has come.
Why David himself didn't have fans at any point, but it's even more perplexing.
I mean, they're like child fans, right? It shouldn't be that much of a mystery. You know, it's hard to understand the content that children like when you're, you know, above the age of, I don't know, 17 or something. It's hard to understand the appeal of content that children like. But, you know, like when I was looking at, what is it, Bendy's Digital Circus or whatever, I was like, what the f is this, right? But who knows how I would have reacted if I was like 4 years old, 5 years old, and I saw it, you know, for the first time. You know, kids like, a lot of the time, shit, you know, just slap a few bright colors on it, you can probably get some children to enjoy it. Look at Coco Melon. What is Coco Melon? It's like cancer to me. But I'm sure there's millions of infants around the world who enjoy that every day.
My blades thirst.
However, there are three factors I personally believe in the development of the Voice fan base. First of all, some of them were probably because of his edgy, controversy-ridden, troll-centric persona, which made people want to be contrarian by supporting him. After all, anyone who's been on the internet for a few years is bound to have encountered pretty deplorable creators whose fans just want to watch them epically own other people. Degenerates like Maximilian Musk and Shadman come to mind. Second of all, it's possible that...
I wonder if that is the case. I wonder if the appeal to someone like Shadman or Maximilian Musk, definitely Max I could see it, but with Shad, I wonder if the appeal behind him for a lot of people was not that he was drawing weird shit, but also just that he was willing to draw it and didn't care how people felt about it. I wonder if that was part of it. I don't think that, you know, makes it good to be a fan of Shadman. I don't think obstinance to general morality is like a good excuse to support a horrible person, but, you know, maybe that is a decent amount of the factor into why people liked him at all.
But some fans of the Kristawi channel never even encountered any of the drama about him, leading them to continue supporting him.
He's very teenage.
For example, the closest person to the drama on the channel was involved with years ago, as confirmed that they never became aware that the person like the Kristawi channel wasn't a girl, because they didn't pay attention to the drama. I believe it's not unreasonable to assume others might have been.
What is that banner on this sub? Illuminati. Is this supposed to be Internet Historian? Why do they draw him like that? Why do they draw him as like some oafish brute? What is this? Is this James Somerton? These are like the funniest drawings I've ever seen. That's awesome.
Drama. I believe it's not unreasonable.
I've been on that subreddit probably like 40 times in my life. I never even noticed that. I never even noticed that that was their banner.
To assume others might have been.
That's crazy.
Finally,
it doesn't bode well.
That many of David's most loyal fans were there because of a weird and somewhat exploitative parasocial bond that he had forged with them. A few minutes ago, I mentioned the possibility that David would use collaborations as a method of establishing contact with the younger members of the community.
The time has come.
As we discovered later, this was only one of the methods he had for reaching out to his young and impressionable audience. Regardless of the reasons why, there was a substantial group of Baldrock's fans on the internet, and it isn't too much of a stretch to say that some of them literally worshipped him.
Were there really? I knew who this guy was. I didn't think that he had like a big audience. The truth of everything. Well, this has 100,000 views. Well, I guess he had some kind of fan base at some point. Although, I mean, all these people are viewing him negatively, but he was notable enough that 100,000 people watched a re-upload of the video.
Y aparte, que si hablan español, todos los desgraciados me censuraron. Se han ido a otras plataformas y han conseguido aquí. ¿Sí sabes quién es? Todos van a decir, González, you are.
So weird. So the archive channel alone is 3,000 subs. One of the videos has 150. Some of them have a lot. I mean, you know me, this is a re-upload. It's sad that this is a loud conversation. It's crazy that a re-upload is this is for re-uploading content created by this is remarkably high.
To the point that his coworkers began to refer to them as the quote-unquote cult of Kristawi, and their platform of choice,
the cult of
where they would congregate and sing the praises of their Lord Baldrock. Was
Amino. Oh, I forgot about Amino. This is some app that was sponsoring YouTubers a lot back in the day. I think when I had like, I don't know, I want to say like 13,000 subs, I think they offered me like $200 to promote their shit.
The time has come.
The disturbing truth of Amino. Amino needs to be deleted. What was going on there? Was it cringe content slash shit? That's what I would guess based on the video titles. What was going on Amino?
As a teenager, it can be hard trying to fit in. What if you like a specific video game, like Minecraft, but none of your friends like it? Do you force yourself to enjoy the games your friends like, or do you stick to the game you want to play, but risk?
Amino app controversy. Kid's amino app asks girl 10 for topless photo to verify her age.
Quickly.
What? The app itself? No way. A 10-year-old girl was playing dress-up anime game on a children's cartoon app when a message popped up asking for a picture of her bare chest or be permanently banned from the site. A private message showed up on the Gotcha Life forum on the Amino app. They claimed to be female and that the app was a safe space for young girls. And went as far as to say that girls under 14 could take a photo with a bra if they didn't feel comfortable. What the? So is it it's not a notification from the app itself, I assume. It's like a message from some stranger on the app that a child will confuse with some message from the app and therefore do something terrible, possibly, right?
For those unaware, Amino is a social media site where users can create their own quote-unquote communities for people to join, each usually dedicated to a specific topic or person.
Reddit.
Over the years, the site has...
Have you seen the Squidward versus Miles epic rap battles of Sigma? I have.
It was as a gathering place for more passionate fan bases, specifically fans of anime.
Do I have a passionate fan base? Is that, or am I just a sword jacket? That's why I'm being put there. What does that mean?
Furry-centric content would band together within these communities. And with that description, it should come as no surprise that, just like the animation meme community, a concerning amount of the user base was children, which, again, has led to all sorts of unsavory people being drawn to the site. But let's get back to the topic at hand. The Amino that was created in David, or rather...
Especially these art communities seem really, like, heavily penetrated by... because a lot of the art is of, like, children's properties, and then children get interested in it because it's like, oh, it's art of a thing I like, and I like art, so I'll get involved here. And then you just have, like, seeing that and seeing their perfect harvesting grounds, I guess.
Voldrox's name was actually formed absent of his influence. As the story goes, at some point after David's face reveal, a group of very dedicated fans came together to create a community known as Droxism. They were very organized, behaving more like, well, like a cult than like a traditional fan club. The reason I say this is that beyond the weird religious wording and the sheer reverence and zeal they have for supporting David by necessary, the Droxis also engaged in some very disturbing activities with David. Please be warned.
Every what a doctor.
Description for those who may have struggled with
oh no.
Essentially, the main reason that the Droxis were the members were rumored to be habit of cutting beef or bald their arms.
Bro, we're back to the degenerate Meowba rabbit hole. Cutting yourself with Discord rolls. Jesus Christ. How dark does it have to get, man? Come on. I had enough. I had enough of him pretending to be a 16-year-old girl. Do we have to get worse than that? I mean, we've already gotten worse, but it's just, you know, the papers are stacking up.
It is also rumored that it was once a requirement to join the community that one perform this act and send proof to one of the leaders, apparently to show their dedication to their degenerate lord. Now, you might...
Why is he wearing epic Assassin's Creed hood during his arrest? Why is he wearing that?
Be thinking that
to hide his face, I guess?
David can hardly be blamed for what his fans got up to in their little club.
How many people actually did this, or is it shock lore? I mean, it could be shock lore, it could be fake, it could be real, who knows? This particular part, anyway. You know, it's ultimately a rumor, but still a disturbing rumor to hear about.
After all, I did say that the community was formed without any input from him. However, what I didn't mention was that, before long, David discovered this community of his most loyal followers, and was made well aware of what they'd been up to. Instead of discouraging this behavior, or at least distancing himself from this group of clearly very young and vulnerable people, David saw fit to take advantage of them by getting into contact with their current leader, a user known as Coffee Bean, and relaying to her commands intended to mobilize the group, essentially for the purpose of harassing and deterring any of David's detractors. And
oh, he had his little brigade. He had his little group of spurgs that could do his bidding. Interesting. He's the master of puppets. He's manipulative. The thing I always have to wonder with people like this is, like, you have to anticipate at some point when you're some kind of creep like this, when you're like, you know, getting pictures from girls who are way too young for you, when you're pretending to be a teenager online when you're not one. screwing an audience of young girls so you can abuse them, getting involved in some weird amino cult of people who self-harm in your name. Like, you have to anticipate you're going to be caught eventually, right? These people have to imagine that at some point it's going to catch up to them. Are they just too... They have no sense of self-preservation? Like, if you're as a public platform and you're like trying to molest kids with that public platform, you know, like, people can take screenshots of what you're doing, right? It's going to happen. You're going to get called out if you're not sent to jail at some point. Right? They ride the line till they get caught? I guess so. It's just like, they're literally... I guess that the simple explanation is like, when they're being... Their urges are stronger than the negative consequence that they receive, whatever it may be. You know, that must be it.
Of the people that David sent the Droxus to harass, there is no better example than that of...
Why would he care? Well, because he's risking going to jail.
Emi Matsuno, a then 14-year-old artist,
Seems like
managed to enrage
too impulsive to stop themselves from being a freak.
David to the point that throughout the summer of 2018, he would not only command his little posse to spam her with threats, insults, and channel flags intended to remove her from the internet altogether, but he would also go so far as to post personal information about her in the background of one of his animations. But in order to fully...
Subliminal docs? What the hell?
Completely reasonable and appropriate reaction to being antagonized by a teenager on the internet, we have to backtrack a bit. Remember how I made a big stink about how the larger creators in the animation community didn't treat David's grooming allegations with the seriousness that they probably should have? Well, that doesn't mean that everyone in the community felt the same way. In fact, there were actually groups which emerged during this period that were specifically dedicated to not only spreading awareness about David's degeneracy, but also reporting him to the police with the intention of getting him arrested. As early as June of 20, groups like the Cristali Report Amino became active, as well as various individual accounts like Dan Zafiro and Stop Cristali. The people running these accounts and communities would essentially work together in order to compile evidence and make call-outs.
I always find it so fascinating when you get to the point where there's like these little internet factions who don't have like audiences, they're not content creators. They're not like self-interested, they're just these little internet factions who find communities to come together to do their spur shit. I mean, obviously it's good to expose this freak. It's so interesting to me when like these little brigades and communities come together to accomplish a common goal over the internet. It makes for some of the best stories in my opinion.
Of videos and overall spread awareness about David's behavior, months before any mainstream creators had condemned him for anything beyond tracing and uploading SFW. However, just like the Droxists, these groups were also largely made up of children, and as such, not only was it common for
these factions are the real heroes. Why are content creators silent about it? I mean, the thing about content creators is they're not always silent about it because they know about it and don't want to talk about it. It's more that like content creators are one person, right? They're not omnipresent, but you know, members of their audience or whatever fall through the entire internet to find these cases. Right? So I don't think that was
this due to the cringy ways in which they called it out, but it was also very easy for him to sow dissent through manipulation and harassment. That brings us to the events that occurred surrounding Emi Matsuno's Amino community. Emi Matsuno's Amino was founded on June 13th, 2018, and it seems that even prior to its formation, Emi and her online associates had been warring with David and his fans